Hey everybody, Garcia here, and today we're taking a look at the latest expansion to Imperial Settlers' Empires of the North. This is Barbarian Hordes. In this expansion, just like in the previous two expansions, you are going to get two brand new faction decks, ready to play out of the box, that are tied to each other in some thematic way. In this case, they are both barbarians, and they are both very much about stealing the resources you want or getting them through some nefarious way instead of growing them, farming them like most of the other factions in the game. So we're going to go ahead and dive into this. I'm not going to be explaining how the core game plays. You can check out our video for that if you want to know how the game plays. You can, of course, check out the video for the other expansions if you want to see that. But if you are ready to find out what I think of the latest in the line, then you're in the right place. Let's dive into it. Here we've got the two Barbarian decks that are going to come with the expansion, as well as a few new island cards that you are going to get. These are always a welcome addition. In my book, you are going to get 4 nearby islands with some interesting powers, and you are going to get 2 of the distant islands here and here. So there you go. Again, you just shuffle these in and you're good to go. Very nice. I think every expansion should have a few of these just to grow the deck, to give you more variety, no matter what factions you're playing with. So great. And then we've got these two. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one first. This one, you are going to, the main twist in it, and both of these I would say are fairly simple, to be honest. The main twist in this one is these tokens right here. You see these barbarians. They are not going to produce whatever they need themselves. They're pretty much going to take it from you. And so these tokens are going to end up on the cards of their opponents. You can put these on their fields. You can put these on their action cards. And every time an opponent triggers a card that has one of these tokens on it, they are then allowing you to take something. You are going to get a good of your choice from the supply that equals something they have in their stock, in their pool. So if my opponent has one of those on a card, they trigger it, and in their pool they've got lumber and they've got food. I can choose to take either one. I can take food, I can take lumber. Not from them, I just get one instance of it. Now, if they have nothing, I get gold. So that's another thing they have to be mindful of. And if these stick around for a while, meaning they're avoiding the cards that I put it on, well, I've got an answer to that too in this deck. Some of the cards in this deck are going to give me straight up victory points for how many of these are in my opponent's domains. So that's another thing to watch out for. That is quite the big gun. If I get that card in my hand, I can do some serious damage for you not quote-unquote cashing these in, okay? So that's the general flow of the deck, the general idea. It's very nice. It's sort of hands-off confrontational, if you would. I'm definitely going to be messing with you, but you trigger that on your own time frame. So it's interesting. It's a little bit different. I enjoy the way this plays, with a little meanness without feeling too nasty. I'm not taking your things. You just got to help me out a little bit. So I like this one. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the cards here, all right? So, for example, let's take a look at this one. Low-Key Theft, it's called. And they are stealing a well-known hammer. If you think about the title of the card as well, you'll get it, okay? So this one says, spend 1 worker to place one of those tokens on any field in an opponent's empire. Additionally, you may resolve the effect once for each other opponent. So this card scales. If you have several opponents, you're playing a 4-player game, you'll do this 3 times. You are going to do some interesting things as well with these instant cards. This one says instant. It's a sale to play. Reveal an island card. If you reveal the nearby island, you get 1 gold. If you reveal the distant island, you get 1 victory point. Now, reveal, which is new in this expansion, means flip over another one from the top of the deck and make it available as well. So now players can see 3 of them, okay? So you can see, you can show more things. People are guaranteed something. They're not just top decking, but you got a little bonus for it. This one here, choose an opponent, is an instant populate to play. Choose an opponent, they must either discard one random card from their hand, or they let you place one of those tokens on any field or action card in their empire. You don't have to lose the card, but you got to let me put out a token. All sorts of things like that, okay? So there you go. That's basically it. There's the one, the really big one. Let me find that nasty one that is going to make you a lot of victory points. Yeah, this is it right here. Hasty Heist. Spend one worker and one fish to gain one victory point for each of these in a chosen opponent's empire. Really strong stuff, so watch out for that. So there you go. That's this deck, which I very much enjoy. Now, the other one I like a little bit better. And this one's a little trickier, but again, not a difficult deck, I would say. In this one, you are going to begin play with one ship and one raft. And the rest of these, several more rafts, several more ships, are set off to the side. You will see production in this one is a little bit different. If you want to produce, if you want to gather some goods over here, you are going to, it's for your workers spend, on your workers spend tile here, you are going to send one of these tokens. Obviously, you're taking the action as well on the central wheel, but if I want to gather over here, I want those 3 sheep, well, then I have to send a ship over here, and that's out. This one is all about sailing, and these guys are thematically out there on the waves, just taking what they want instead of growing it themselves, right? They have no fields, not really. They're just out there sailing and pillaging and taking what they need from other players. So this deck is all about gathering more ships, gathering more rafts, taking actions that utilize them, sailing, moving yourself up the line in the sailing, all sorts of things like that. You're going to have more cards you can play out that you again can spend the rafts or the ships here to get axes. You are going to have, this one, spend one worker to harvest using a raft. So that's another way you can harvest using this action without spending one of your activation tokens. This one here is gain one victory point for each ship and raft on the expedition board. So a lot of sailing is going to happen with this deck. This one here, gain one resource for each of your ships and rafts on your clan tile. So again, if you do a lot of gathering, this one's going to get you a bunch more on top of that. So big turns, but it's all based on these. If you're using them to gather, you're not using them to sail. If you do use these to sail, the ships behave as normal ships. The raft, you cannot put anything on it. So it's only going to go to nearby islands, and you cannot put an axe on this. Okay, so you're not going to be able to keep that card. So there you go. I like this one quite a bit. It's very interesting the way they're using a part of the game space, the game design space, to explore something that isn't explored by any other deck in this way anyway. So there you go. Let's see if there's anything else here interesting I want to show you. I think you get the idea of how this works anyway. This one here, action, spend one worker to assign a fish from the general supply to any ship on the expedition board. If you put it on your own ship, you get a point. If you put it on somebody else's ship, you get 2 points. So there you go. It's interesting. It's all about that navigation. And that's going to be it for what comes in this box, everybody. So let's go ahead and go back up top. Let me tell you about this box, about what comes in it, and how you're going to want it. Here we go. All right, that is Barbarian Hordes. Let's talk about this, shall we? I'm going to break this down. I'm going to start with theme. The theme of these expansions keeps drifting away from the Of the North moniker that the line has. I'm not that bothered by that. I think they kind of are now making this feel very much like, thematically anyway, like Imperial Settlers. I wish there was a little more distinction there thematically between those two things. At the end of the day, this product on its own, the decks within it are smartly themed, they are smartly put together, they are easy to grasp, they are relatable what you are doing in the deck. Somebody can grab one of these decks, play it at the end of that one session, you understand the faction, you understand their motivations. That's solid. I enjoy that from, again, in a bubble. they're approachable decks. Do they feel like Empires of the North? Not really, but probably the last couple haven't either. The aesthetics here, if I'm not mistaken, there was an artist change for this product. The reason I know that is because when I saw the decks in person, the illustrations look a little muddier. They look a little less cutesy. They look just, the quality of the artwork looks like it took a little bit of a ding. And so I went out of curiosity to go look at the artist. Indeed, it seems like this is a different artist than some of the previous products. And it looks a little muddier, that's all. And so I don't like the look of these two as much. Probably does not help that they're both brown. So this artist might have had a better go at it if these weren't the two Barbarian brown decks. But yeah, these are not my two favorite looking decks. I'll put it that way. Replay value is very good. Two new factions in here, of course, but they play very differently. Not only from each other, but from the other decks in the series at this point. And these are fairly straightforward ideas. I like that too. These are not different and revolutionary because they're so out there and they're so bizarre. They're fairly standard concepts to grasp, and I like them. These are the kinds of decks you can play and understand after one play. The game arc. I like the confrontation in these, but they're sort of hands-off confrontation. They're like roundabout ways of messing with each other, and I enjoy that as well. The ease of play here, good. Easy to recommend this right after the base game. If you've played that and you are looking for another product in this series, this is a great jumping on point after that. I still say the Japanese factions are the trickiest. They are the strangest. They also came out first after the original game. So I would still say probably this first and then the Roman factions and then the Japanese. So this is usually against what I normally say about pretty much any product line, but I would actually recommend buying these things in reverse order, the expansions. So this I would recommend first. And then lastly, tactics, strategy, luck, all of that stuff. Nice discoveries here, even after one game, like I said. But there is more to come as you play them. You learn how to play them well. You learn how to play against them well, which was interesting and surprising and fun. That, that sense of, I'm getting good at this, which a lot of games manage to let their players feel, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them you sort of have even after having played it 8-10 times, you still have kind of a nebulous feel as to, I think this is a good path, I think this is a good idea, strategy. This one, after one play, you start to notice this is what my deck does. I can relate, I like it. After a few more plays, you start thinking, this is what the other deck does, right? Assuming you don't switch, but like you understand how to play against them. And even further plays will solidify some of those ideas. What do you let your opponent get away with? What's coming? What kinds of cards are in their deck? What are they likely to draw? There's more there. Again, these decks are simple in their... it's simple to understand in their construction. They are straightforward. They are not basic. There is some interest and depth there to be discovered, playing for or against. So there you go. I love the Empires of the North series, game, but expansions, the whole line. I think this is yet another slam dunk for this series. There are so many decks now. There are so many fun cards. I just really, really enjoy this line. I think it is a superb two-player game especially, but you can play with more. There is interest. It's engaging. The theme is starting to fray a little bit, but I don't really care that much. If you enjoy the line at all, if you enjoy the original series, the original game, and you want to get an expansion, you got to jump on this. If you have all the other expansions, you're wondering if this is good, you want to jump on this. This is fantastic. This is going to get a 9 out of 10 from me, which means it's going to get a seal of excellence. Absolutely love it. It's going right into my collection, going right into the same box. Yes, the box can still hold this, but barely, so pretty soon we're going to need an insert for this bad boy. All right, everybody, that is it. 9 out of 10 from me. I'm Z Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.